Hello, my people. Good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in every single day to listen to me on Daily Mind Shifts. My name is Michael Ojola for Mindset Transformation Africa. And on today's episode, I want us to talk a little bit on emotional strength. Emotional strength. Let me anchor today's episode on this statement. Emotional strength increases when attention remains fixed on influence rather than uncontrollable outcomes. Emotional strength increases when your attention remains fixed on influence rather than uncontrollable outcomes. You develop emotional strength when you are able to fix your attention on influence rather than the outcomes you cannot control. See, there is a silent habit that drains emotional strength faster than failure ever could. And it is not pain, it is not disappointment, it is not effort. It is fixation on outcomes you do not control, fixations on outcome you do not command. Most emotional exhaustion comes from wrestling events that never ask for your permission in the first place. Your peace weakens the moment your focus drifts away from influence and locks onto results that you cannot stare. Let me say this slowly. You do not lose emotional strength from caring. You lose it from caring about the wrong part of the process. There is a clean line between influence and outcome. Emotional resilience lives on one side of that line, all right? Emotional fatigue lives on the other side. Influence is what you choose, okay? Outcome is what responds to what you choose. One obeys you, that is influence. The other never promised to obey you, all right? So when your attention remains chained to outcome, your emotion will swing widely. Hope rises too fast. Disappointment hits you too hard. Confidence collapses under delay. See, influence steadies your nervous system. It grounds your mind. Most people say they want peace. It's only few people that are willing to relocate their attention, because peace never comes from prediction. It comes from participation. Participation in effort, participation in preparation, participation in response. I want you to think about this. The human mind was never built to control events. It was built to respond intelligently to events. The moment you demand certainty from life, anxiety will move into your life. Anxiety will feed on, anxiety most of the time feeds on uncontrollable futures. Emotional strength grows from present command. You notice how fragile confidence becomes when tied to results. One loss will shake your identity. One delay creates doubt. One rejection feels personal. That fragility has a cause. Attention left influence and calmed inside outcome. And that is the problem. Your attention is no longer on what you can influence. It is now with the outcome that you cannot control. See, influence is boring to some minds, all right? It requires patience. It is boring because it requires patience. It is boring because it asks for consistency. It's boring because it rewards repetition. Outcome seduces attention with drama. Drama steals energy from you. So here's the truth that most people try so hard to avoid. You can do everything right and still receive an unexpected result. Listen, you can do everything right and still receive an unexpected result. That does not mean your effort failed. It means your effort belongs to influence, to what you can control, not to the outcome. Once this lands in your subconscious or even your mind, emotional maturity rises, emotional strength rises. See, emotional strength is not toughness, it is placement of attention. Strong people do not feel less. No, they focus better on things they can control. They choose what deserves their emotional investment. Influence has boundaries. Your preparation, your response, your attitude, your effort, your honesty. Outcome ignores your boundaries totally. It follows timing, systems, people, chance. And confusing the two creates frustration. Separating the two is the thing that will create clarity. You will know what you're doing. Let me just ground this in our daily lives. All right, you send a message, for example. You prepare for a meeting. You show up ready. That is the end of what you can control. Your influence ends there. The reply to your message, the decision that will be made, that the reaction to you showing up early, that belongs to somebody else. It belongs somewhere else. Peace returns the moment you realize, peace returns the moment you release ownership of what never belonged to you. Peace will return to you the moment you release ownership of what never belonged to you. Many people burn out emotionally, not from workload, but from outcome obsession. They replay conversation, they predict reactions, they rehearse rejection. None of that expands your control or your influence. It only drains your presence. It drains you totally. Presence multiplies your influence. When your mind is calm, you respond better. When your body is grounded, you think clearer. When you have a focused heart, you are able to endure longer. See, emotional strength feeds presence. Presence feeds performance. And here is a shift. Very simple shift. I want you to ask a different question. Not, did this work? I want you to ask, did I show up fully? You should not be asking, what will happen? You should be asking, what can I do next when this thing happens? The second set of questions is the one that will stabilize your emotion. The second set of questions stabilizes your emotion. See, influence rewards attention instantly. Outcome rewards attention randomly. Random reward systems destabilize emotional balance. That is why gambling feels intense, because outcome chasing feels similar. Let me say this clearly. Outcome fixation does not improve the result in your life. It only increases emotional volatility. Influence, which is your control, focus. If you focus on what you can control, it improves your skill. And when your skill improves, it improves your probability. And probability is the only honest bridge to results. Your nervous system listens to your attention. When your attention sits on uncontrollable events, your nervous system will stay alert. And alert will turn into tension. Tension will turn into exhaustion. And influence brings closure to the nervous system, all right? It signals safety. It signals to you that you did your part. That sentence restores calm to you. When you can tell yourself truthfully, I did my part. Anything that happens, I move ahead and find a way to make the choice works. It restores calm into you. See, people often confuse acceptance with weakness. Acceptance of outcome frees energy. Energy returns to influence. Influence grows stronger. And that cycle builds quiet confidence. Strong emotions do not mean weak discipline. No, it is misplaced emotions that means weak discipline. When you place your emotion where action lives, and you remove it from speculation, because speculation eventually offers no return to you. And that is what I want you to learn today. This principle reshapes relationships too. All right. You can communicate your desire clearly. You can listen fully. You can act respectfully. But you cannot control how others will interpret this. Trying to manage interpretation will steal your peace. When you release it, on the other hand, it restores self-respect to you. It restores dignity to you. Emotional strength rises when you stop bargaining with reality. See, reality responds to action. It doesn't respond to worry. Worry is emotional labor with no influence. See, there is a rhythm here that I want you to notice. Effort, release, response, adjust. That rhythm sustains your energy. Outcome obsession breaks that rhythm. It rushes release. It delays adjustment. And as we go today, this is what I want you to learn. See, as you move through your day, train your attention, all right? When anxiety rises, I want you to ask, is this inside what I can control? Is this inside my influence? If the answer is no, then release it. Return to the next action, and that single habit will reshape your emotional life. And that is it from me today on Daily Mind Shift.